Hey, it's Greg Harrelson here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And for the last few years, a lot of people have been asking the same question. Is now finally the time to make a move in the Myrtle Beach real estate market? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about whether the Myrtle Beach real estate market is setting itself up for a 2026 boom, why things feel different right now, and what that means for you as a buyer, seller, or maybe you're an investor. I've been selling real estate here locally for over 30 years and have personally sold thousands of properties along the Grand Strand. I've seen the booms, the busts, the bubbles, the resets, and what I'm seeing right now looks like the beginning of a new phase in the market. So let me break it down. Where we're coming from. Over the past couple of years, the market here in Myrtle Beach and really across the country went through a pause. You know that. Interest rates jumped, economic headlines were negative, and a lot of buyers decided to sit on the fence and wait and see. Inventory came off those crazy high-level pandemic levels. Homes took longer to sell, and prices leveled off after the rapid run-up we saw. You might have noticed more price reduction signs, more days on the market, and fewer bidding wars than, of course, we did in 21 or 2022. At the same time, a lot of investors hit the pause button because they were worried about the economy and higher borrowing costs. People still wanted to be here, but the numbers just didn't feel right to them. So that's the environment we're coming out of. It's been a while. It's been a few years, and I know a lot of us are ready for this market to get moving. So why 2026 feels different? Let's talk about the reset and possibly the new beginning of a move up. First, interest rates. No, interest rates are not back to the rock bottom levels we saw during the pandemic, and they probably will never be. But they have come down from the peak, and they're at that point right now where a lot of buyers are saying, you know what, I can live with this payment. What I'm seeing is more pre-approvals with lenders, more showings with us as real estate agents, more views on our websites, and more serious conversations than we were having a year or two ago. Second thing, buyers are just tired of waiting. That's what they tell us. Life doesn't stay on hold forever. People are still getting married, retiring, relocating, having kids, downsizing, and deciding they finally want that place at the beach. Again, people are just tired of being on hold. Many of them have been on the sidelines for 2 or 3 years, and they're realizing that waiting hasn't made real estate dramatically cheaper. It's just, if anything, it's just delayed their plans. So we're starting to see that show up in numbers and pending sales and activity picking back up in many parts of the Myrtle Beach area, all along the Grand Strand. The third thing, though, is investors are quietly coming back. During the uncertainty, a lot of investors stopped pulling the trigger. Now, with pricing normalized and rents still supporting the fact that we're a tourism town and continued in-migration, the math is starting to make sense again for certain properties. We're seeing more investor interest, especially in condos and low-maintenance properties where they can get cash flow and long-term appreciation. And fourth, inventory is still low where it matters most. Yes, there's more inventory than at the height of the frenzy. We all know that, but we're still not in an oversupplied market. In a lot of the popular areas, we're sitting on only a few months of inventory, which historically leans towards a seller's market and puts gentle upward pressure on prices. In communities like Market Common, Carolina Forest, and other high-demand areas, good listings are still getting strong attention when they're priced correctly. In many cases, they sell in a few weeks. Now let's talk about the builder bottleneck. Talk about builders, because they play a big role in whether this turns into a real boom or just a slow grind upward. Builders right now are not flooding the market with inventory. Instead of building as fast as possible, they're being very strategic. They release lots in phases. They adjust their incentives, and they manage their pipelines so they don't end up with a huge oversupply. At the same time, many homeowners are locked into extremely low mortgage rates from a few years ago. See, they don't want to trade a 2 or 3% loan for a higher rate unless they absolutely have to, so they're choosing to stay put. When you combine cautious builders with locked-in homeowners, you get a supply problem. There simply isn't enough new and resale inventory coming to the market to keep up with the demand that we're seeing kind of the early stages of building. That's one of the reasons this feels like a reset. Demand's picking up, but supply is not racing to catch up with it. This is a good sign. So what does this mean for prices in 2026? Well, prices in Myrtle Beach. Given what we're seeing with interest rates stabilizing, maybe going down a little bit more, buyers re-engaging, investors returning, and limited new construction, the market here is set up more for a gradual move up and potentially a strong breakout in certain segments than for any kind of crash. Recent updates already show sales strengthening and months of supply edging down in key parts of our market. This isn't about going back to the wild bidding wars of 2021. I'm not saying that. This is more about a healthier, more sustainable upcycle where well-priced, well-located properties perform very well and buyers who are decisive benefit from getting in before the next leg up. If you've been waiting for that perfect moment, the reality is that perfect only exists in hindsight. What we're seeing right now is a market that's resetting and gaining energy, and historically, that's when the opportunities are the greatest. So what should you do if you're a buyer, what should you do? If you're a buyer who's been sitting on the fence, this is the time to get serious. Focus on the monthly payment that fits your budget, not just the interest rate headline. Get pre-approved, start looking in the neighborhoods you actually want to live in, and be ready to move when the right property hits the market. In many of our most desirable areas, the best price homes are starting to see more showings and more offers again. Waiting for the perfect rate could mean paying more for the same property down the road. Now, what if you're a current owner or maybe a potential seller? If you own a property here and you're thinking about selling in the next 6 to 12 months, you may be entering a very favorable window. As demand improves and inventory remains relatively tight, properly priced listings have a real advantage. This is the time to get your home or condo market ready. Dial in your pricing strategy and position it to stand out from the competition. You don't have to underprice, but you do have to be realistic and you have to be strategic. A good marketing plan will help. Now, if you're an investor, the message is simple. Run the numbers carefully, but don't ignore this market. Look at true cash flow after HOA fees, insurance, and realistic occupancy if it's a rental. Some condo and townhome segments still offer room to negotiate. And if demand continues to build, those who buy solid deals now are positioned well for long-term appreciation. So let me leave you with this. From where I sit, after 30 years and thousands of transactions in this local market, the ingredients are in place for a Myrtle Beach real estate reset in 2026. And the next meaningful move could be very well be up. If you're thinking about buying or investing anywhere along the Grand Strand or maybe selling and you want a custom game plan for 2026, please reach out to me. Every situation is different and your strategy should match your goals, your timeline, and your finances. Not just what you hear on the national news. Remember, real estate is local. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe. Turn on notifications and stay tuned for monthly market updates and neighborhood by neighborhood breakdowns of what's really happening here in the Myrtle Beach real estate market. And if you're thinking about buying or selling in the Myrtle Beach area and you want a clear, customized plan for your situation, please reach out to me directly so we can talk about your goals and your next steps. Again, I'm Greg Harrelson, Century 21, the Harrelson Group. Have a wonderful day.